What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist and Stochastic here in the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a president of our great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I hate being a Minnesota Vikings fan. Is this season over yet? It hasn't started yet? Great. Bet365 is now available in Pennsylvania. You guys can sign up, bet 5, get 150, and make me feel alive. You also get 50 spins on the old virtual slot machines. Take advantage of that down at the link below. It's only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Why did we use a first-round pick on J.J. McCarthy? Why do bad things happen to good people? We only have 7 games on today's MLB slate. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. And game number 1, we have Mitch Spence going up against Jose Quintana. And to start things off here, let's just point out the obvious. Brent Rooker did not end up in that lineup there on Thursday. If you were wondering, had a lot of people in the premium Discord asking me, Eric, why are we trimming down Oakland and the Mets? Because I was trying to get out of that position in any way I possibly could. I was able to get out of most of it there at even money. Again, know your cash out, know which books. Again, most of them charge you some type of a rate now on your plays, and you're almost better off letting it roll long-term. Plus, in MLB, it's only 1 of 9 batters, right? Well, the difference between Brent Rooker and any player that replaces him, now Dallas Cameron actually isn't a complete zero, JJ Bleday and Lawrence Butler being the other guys who rounded out the outfield there. It's not zeros, but then your DH becomes something not ideal. Seth Brown, that's kind of your replacement level player there. Now it's left on left. We're running into a same situation. David Peterson getting the ball on Wednesday. So with Brent Rooker on the paternity list, I have to be looking at the board and I have to be making some type of adjustments for Oakland because you can't use any of their stats without Brent Rooker, one of the best hitters in baseball, being accounted for. In fact, out of my model, when you take him out, Oakland becomes like a bottom 5 offense immediately. And that's where I think the run line is really appealing here. I think you want to jump on it now because I think people are also recognizing what I recognize. Plus 130 here for Thursday's number. We saw the line move pretty significantly to account for that number. 8.5 dropped down to 8. You saw a lot of money come in on the Mets side. I think it's going to come in on the Mets side yet again. The better offense by a pretty considerable margin when you talk about this. Jose Quintana, not somebody I generally back, but considering he's a lefty, neutralizes a couple of those bats that I'm really worried about. If he can get by Andujar, who's been serviceable, Shea Langoliers, who's been serviceable against everybody, I think Jose Quintana has a good chance to pitch well for us. And if he does, nearly a 9 total here, that's mostly on the Mets side. Give me the run line at plus money. There's a chance this gets closer inside of plus 110 by first pitch tomorrow. Seattle at Detroit here up next, and I think this one's pretty clear-cut to me. I think Kenta Maeda is who gets the ball for the Detroit Tigers, for what it's worth. He's who I broke it down as, and basically they've been using like 1 day a week where Detroit just goes full onslaught, entire bullpen, long relievers. Kenta Maeda can boost into somebody else. They play lefty-righty, they play platoon, and Detroit pretty neutral there in terms of a bullpen. Pretty neutral as far as a ballpark as well. A little bit more cavernous, but Seattle, they play in the ultimate cavern there, so everything's basically a ballpark upgrade when you talk about getting out of Seattle. But here we are with Bryce Miller on the mound, and we are getting $154 here. We got to lay $154 to get there. It's a little bit concerning. I'm going to watch Wednesday's game here. If Detroit is winning back-to-back here, they annihilated everybody there on Tuesday. Javi Baez gets scratched there on Wednesday. I don't really care. He's been one of the worst hitters in baseball, even though he had a home run on Tuesday, and everybody wanted to point that out in the premium Discord, and that's stochastic. But anyway, we've got ourselves an interesting one. Seattle money line. I think if this drops inside of minus 150, maybe a parlay piece. Might also be something to attach a prop to. Maybe Cal Raleigh, somebody that, has obviously treated us well, Double Dong Central. So now we've come off of a lock that we won on Tuesday. Yay, Dodgers. We've also got the Cal Raleigh and the Kyle Schwarber double dongs that we've called. 2 of the 3 times I've recommended double dongs, they've actually done it. I think we're back on track. So caution is an okay thing on a 7-gamer. Don't have to force this play. Seattle money line. If I find something to attach it to, I'll let you know over on X tomorrow if you ask me. Super clean, super easy here on this one. Dodgers might be looking at backing them against the Milwaukee Brewers. Yes, their splits have been better against righties, but with no Christian Yelich in this lineup, it's a little concerning. And now they're underneath a 110 WRC plus against righties. I ended up for a small play on the Dodgers for a half unit again on Wednesday. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. Arizona, they got that run line through finally. 1 for 3, still lost money on the series, but whatever. We're looking at Jack Flaherty and Tobias Myers. Huge pissing. Why do I always say pissing mismatch? That's not what we're doing here. It is a pitching mismatch. Jack Flaherty looked really good in Dodger blue thus far, just absolutely rolling. I think that's our second time that we've used him on the program this week. Yeah, I could probably sing the other one. It's all about the he said, she said, because sometimes you just want to justify ripping someone's head off when people get hurt on your football team. Oh, yeah, we're going to break this down. I have a prop I'm very interested in here because Tobias Myers, if this guy ends up in the lineup, and I will say the reason this is going lean-like as opposed to like knowing what this number's been the last 2 days is purely because I don't know if he ends up making this lineup for, however many consecutive days. They're looking to take a day off here, a day off there with some of these guys. We saw Will Smith get the day off here on Wednesday unexpectedly. And part of the reason that I made this bet to begin with on Wednesday was that I thought he'd be sandwiched between Teoscar Hernandez and Will Smith like he's been for a while. I'm, of course, talking about Gavin Lux, who was a plus 900 home run play, who I had a small play on Monday. Tuesday, he actually hits the home run when I'm on the RBI, but it is what it is. We're on a full unit for the RBI, so technically a lock there at plus 185. Now, it's been the same number back-to-back days, but with all the insurance at the top of the lineup, Mookie Betts back in your life, and now Ahmed Rosario designated for assignment, including a number of these pieces that have been shipped off to, the White Sox. Miguel Vargas, he's gone. They're not going to pinch hit Gavin Lux with Nick Ahmed. That's just not a thing that's going to happen. He's been batting fifth routinely. If he does again here, and you're getting around that plus 185 against a righty like Tobias Myers, you just bet it with the guys who are in front of him. Because again, RBIs, it matters who's batting in front of him. It helps to have the insurance behind Will Smith, but at the same time, I'm not all that concerned because plus 185 is a gigantic number. He was like plus 210, plus 205 in a lot of these series where you had pinching concern, where he was batting 8th or 9th. I know that's a lot of information. I know this graphic's been up forever and we'll move on, but very important that you see plus 185, a gigantic number on Gavin Lux here on Wednesday. And then, well, anything better than plus 170. Plus 170 is going to be positive EV. I have this down to plus 150 here. It's a little bit higher against Tobias Myers. Let's talk bet 365. Sorry, I thought I'd explain. I'll also explain this super quick, super easy. Pennsylvania. It just went live in your state. Bet 365, one of the most renowned, one of the most respected sports books worldwide. If you want to sign up now, you can go to the link below and bet $5, just $5, and get 150 in bet credits. I really have nothing else to add. There's no catch. There's no me trying to push this narrative of, oh, you work for the books. I do not work for the books. But if you want to support this program, hey, we got to take advantage of these kind of offers. And don't you want to have exposure to as many sports books as possible? I sure do. Big part of my process should be yours as well. It's also available in states such as Iowa, such as Arizona, such as New Jersey. If Bet365 is available in your state, go down to the link below, sign up, take advantage. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please go 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. Max Fried and Logan Webb coming up here next for us. And wouldn't you know it, both these guys have been pitching pretty well of late. Logan Webb, late game shutout that we had a couple games ago. Pretty wild stuff from him. Ground ball extraordinaire, but Max Fried isn't that far behind. For all the love that I give to Logan Webb for his 56.7% ground ball percentage, how about Max Fried's 58.8% ground ball percentage? You're going to have the ball on the ground in a cavernous ballpark here like San Francisco, a great pitcher's park. We get 7. I thought 6.5 was going to be the prevailing number, and so I bet this. I like this, but I know a lot of people don't like their lean and don't like their unders here, so I made this a lean like purely because, like, if you want to pass on this, whatever, it's half a run. It's like a 3% expected value for me. That's good enough. That passes the bar or something like that. I don't think it's a lawyer. I'm surely not a lawyer. I'm just a guy who just is really good with spreadsheets and says funny things once in a blue moon or never. Or I've had a tough day, okay? The Viking next game. Shipping off to Baltimore. Oh, doesn't sound as cool. Nick Pivetta of the Boston Red Sox going up against Zach Eflin. And both these guys, it's interesting because I like them for different reasons. Nick Pivetta, I like the strikeout stuff. I always have, I always will. Nearly a 30% strikeout rate, but the barrels of a 9.6% barrel percentage and knowing the lefties that are littered through this lovely Baltimore lineup, literation. For a guy who has a show named Lindy's Leans, Lights, and Locks, that shouldn't be that surprising. But we got Jackson Holiday, celebrate. He's been doing all right. Ryan O'Hearn, Colton Cowser, probably be leading off again. Gunnar Henderson. You lost it for me, Gunnar. You lost it for yourself. It's Mighty Ducks 2. It's from Mighty Ducks 2 and Mighty Ducks 2 after the shootout. His name was Gunnar. Anyway, the Boston money line just going to be a lead. Zach Eflin's really, really good on the other side of this one. 19.3% K rate doesn't look great, but he does everything else well. The Nick Pivetta kind of struggles with 6.5% barrel percentage, 35.7% hard hit. But Boston been number one in baseball against right-hand pitching. They get Jaron Duran back after he was a naughty boy and said naughty things. So here we go. Boston money line, just a lean, not going to be playing it at these numbers. 50% off, friends, if you use promo code Lindy50. All you have to do is go to the link below. And if you want to get my premium betting package, if you want to see what I'm betting on Thursday, jump on in there. Obviously, I'm talking through the plays here, but there's always prop exposure. There's also pick'em exposure I'm giving it to the people. So if you're playing prize picks, underdog routinely on a day-to-day basis, and DraftKings Pick 6, which I really recommend, sign up down at the link below. Use code Lindy50, and we're going to break it all down for you. Woo, woo. That's $10 for your first week if you want to come try it out. If you hate me, well, you ain't me, so it is what it is. Or you're just not going to sign up, and that's fine. But Lindy50 at the link below. Shine it for my package over at Odd Shopper in the marketplace. OS Marketplace, friends, is live. Back to the picks we go. Man, we're already at the end of our boarding walk. 2 games to go. I do have a play from this one, eerily similar to the first one we had on board. The Mets, though, we were getting really nice plus money, and the Phillies, well, they're down 3-1 right out the get-go here to the, yeah, it's pretty wild to watch that Jonah Bride bomb right from the get-go here. We'll see how things pan out in that game here as it finishes up, but Mitchell Parker, Zach Wheeler. This is a huge pitching. Come on, I've got to stop doing that. Pitching mismatch. I don't know where that is coming from, but we're talking about more than a $1.25 difference between the run line and the money line here. I get it. You got a really good starting pitcher, but all the variance exists on the Washington side with Mitchell Parker. Now, he is a lefty. That's useful because you don't neutralize Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper or Brandon Marsh, but for sure, there are different iterations of it. And coming off of going 2 for 16 in his last 4 games, Trey Turner ended up getting the day off. He's taking a nap. Well, he's probably going to pinch hit at some point in that game, if we're being honest, especially because they're down right now. But I do think that this is a great spot to buy the Phillies on the comeback. I would be very surprised. I know that the world is on fire for big old Jake Burger and fries, just going ballistic, going nuts, doing things. But things might get better. But Zach Wheeler is just incredible, guys. And this is just a back on him. 203 expected batting average is unreal. 33% hard hit just continues to be nasty Perro. So I just look at everything on this game, and it's just so straightforward. I love the run line, but do not sleep on Kyle Schwarber. When he's not facing righties, we've seen some wild numbers like north of plus 260, plus 270, which doesn't sound wild for home runs, but it is wild knowing that you're going to be getting righty arms coming in from this bullpen against Kyle Schwarber, and that's 2, maybe 3 opportunities if they get to Parker early to invest in the home run prop, which doesn't change numbers. You could try to live bet it, I suppose, and go that direction as well, but I'll take a couple of matchups up against Mitchell Parker with his 458 expected slugging and 8% barrel percentage. So don't sleep on Schwarber to go Schwarbtastic on Thursday. I had to think what day it was. And we've reached the end of our boarding walk. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, as Bailey Ober is now pitching today. Riddle me that, Batman. And as such, they're the favorites. But I will say, Texas money line is potentially where I'm going to be dropping in on this one, mainly because we get a lefty starter on the mound in Cody Bradford, who through a couple of starts here, I think he's been really impressive. Now, I don't think he's as good as a 3.60 ERA, 0.93 whip has been, but he's been very, very sharp here in a lot of these outings. And, 92 pitches against the Yankees, only 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts with a bunch of ground balls. This is a southpaw who I think we can back in some capacities. So I'm going to throw out a perspective based on his last start. I use historical prop data a lot, talk about it throughout this process, but inside of minus 140, under 2.5 earned runs allowed against my Twins, I think is in play. And again, God hates Minnesota sports. Did you know that God hates Minnesota sports? God hates Minnesota sports. Happy Thursday. Let's get out of here. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for Thursday. Let me know some reaction to Wednesday stuff. Lots of weird stuff. Lots that's still yet to play here, but some good, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Kind of been the story of this week thus far. Hopefully can get some home runs across the board. Dear God. I mean, of course it's Bobby Witt. It's always Bobby Witt. Why was I betting South? Always Bobby Witt. Anyway, Bet365 talked about them down below. OS Marketplace talked about them down below. Thank you so much to both of them for checking out this program. Great stuff as always. I'm complimenting myself. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until Friday, massive slate coming down our pipeline on Friday. Got to take advantage of these before NFL's back, baby. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Friday. I hate football.